the Samford News Network. I'm Christiana Hewlett.
And I'm Jordan Shepperson. Today we're covering a topic that impacts nearly everyone on campus: parking.
That's right. This is a special feature episode entirely dedicated to parking. From policy changes to student experiences, we're diving into everything you need to know before coming back this fall. So, if you plan to park at Samford next year, prepare for a big change. As construction on campus increases, there are going to be some parking fee increases as well. Grace Henry has more on the story.
The cost of a student parking pass is going from $30 a semester to $250. The change starts in the 2026 to 2027 school year, where construction is happening all over campus. According to Samford's website, they call it historic construction and say that parking is limited because of it. The goal, according to Samford, is to keep things safe, organized, and as convenient as possible. Whether you're living on campus or commuting in, parking is something that's going to feel different in the coming years, with new buildings going up and fewer spots to go around. In this show, we're taking a closer look at what's changing and how students are reacting to these parking changes around campus. For Samford News Network, I'm Grace Henry.
If you've tried parking on campus this year, you've probably noticed how tough it can be to find an open spot. Parking has become an increasingly bigger concern as students, faculty, and staff all express a struggle to find available spaces around campus. The university is in the process of expanding the north parking deck by Vail Residence Hall. This will add more than 550 new parking spots to Central Campus and nearly 650 new residential beds to both Central and West Campus are being built. This development has raised concerns for many about whether it will be enough to meet the needs of a growing community. University officials say they understand this concern. In an interview with the Vice President of Finance, Business Affairs and Strategy, Dr. Colin Coyne addressed these issues. He explained that adding more on-campus housing will allow cars to be shifted to residential areas. This should help free up commuter spaces around other areas of campus. Dr. Coyne also pointed out that Samford students have gotten used to some unusually convenient parking.
The biggest challenge we have is folks on our campus in particular seem to feel they need to park within 10 yards of their front door. And that's atypical for a college campus. It's very atypical. So we need to do a better job of setting expectations to begin with. But if we do that, we need to make sure that there's well-lit, safe passage around campus. So this summer we're actually convening a group of folks, which will include students, to look at completely redoing our entire parking program on campus.
Campus landscape. The university says it will continue to assess campus needs and communicate updates as changes take place.
But, as we heard earlier, the amount of spaces isn't the only issue. Parking on campus also just got a lot more expensive for Samford students. The university recently raised its parking permit fee to $500 a year in the wake of this parking increase. Students joined together in response. Liza Coffin has more.
As the news of the parking permit price increase spread like fire on the Fizz app, students had mixed reactions. Some were confused, some angry, and some tried to provide some comedic relief. Others hopped right into action. Freshman Lachlan Caligiuri was shocked by what she saw.
I was flabbergasted. I was just like, I'm going to have to work so much during the summer to pay for this.
So she hopped on Fizz and organized her own response.
Protesting, that's going to do something, that's going to make change.
Caligiuri felt very personally affected by this price increase.
And so it's hard, for me and other people to pay for school that are lower income.
She planned the protest with Amelia Horton, the creator of the petition.
I didn't see any reason for the parking increase, and knowing what our tuition costs, it just seemed insane. So someone had asked on Fizz, someone needs to make a petition, and so I knew how easy it was to make one, so I just went ahead and did it.
Horton created a change.org petition in hopes of getting university attention.
I believe that the awareness portion of the parking issue has passed and we've done what we needed to do, but now we need to focus on the policy side of it.
And students are invited to do that. Samford's SGA has been holding Senate meetings to discuss the issue. Vice President for Senate Grace Lyons said that filing constituent reports are the best way to get administration attention. These are online forms that students can fill out to bring issues to attention at a more formal level. Recently, a parking resolution was passed and was sent to Samford administration. The resolution consists of 5 sections that call for more clarity and communication regarding the choice and future plans. The Senate also wrote in requesting the university to attempt a gradual price increase rather than an immediate 733% jump. While the Senate waits for administration response, Lyons and Horton are encouraging students to file more constituent reports. For SNN, this has been Liza Coffin.
As you can probably tell, students are not exactly happy about the parking situation. With a 120% increase in yearly prices and no budging room from the board, students have to face this change. According to Prep Scholar, 98% of the Samford student population receive any sort of financial aid, whether it be through loans or scholarships. 39% of students specifically have federal loans. The parking prices just add on to the price needed to attend Samford, as well as travel the Birmingham area. Samford sophomore Eliza Coleman shares the trend that is happening on campus due to these added funds.
It will definitely, keep like the graduation rate lower, which is kind of annoying because I feel like that's something that like brought me to Samford, was that it's like, oh, I'd want to graduate from here and like I'd stay here all 4 years and not want to like transfer out like first year, and it's kind of like freshman baiting sort of, if you know what I mean. And like I've heard a lot of freshmen are transferring out for sophomore year because of that, and it's like, that's kind of a dumb move.
VP of Business at Samford, Colin Coyne, shares that students in financial need should not worry.
It was a choice that we had to make, and as long as we take care of our lowest income students, I think that's how we have to look at it. Talked about that well in advance, and our most needy students will be taken care of by our normal processes.
We've talked a lot about the students' attitude toward the parking, but what if they had to describe it in just one word?
Maggie Corbett went around campus to ask students what one word they would use to describe Samford's parking.
Ever wonder what Samford students think of the parking here on campus? I put Samford students on the spot asking them one word to describe parking here on campus.
Tiny. See, I'm not that mad about it anymore.
Frustrating.
Chaotic. Such a hot mess, I don't even park at Samford.
Improving.
Dysfunctional.
One thing I would say is parking needs improvement.
My goodness, those were definitely some interesting viewpoints. I think you could even consider some hot takes.
Definitely some hot takes. What word would you use to describe the parking experience?
I'm going to be an overachiever, and I'm going to go for 2, hot topic.
Very nice. Speaking of hot takes, while most students are outraged at the recent parking change, one student is defending the change as a necessary evil. Charlie Williams, and parking ticket employee, described the parking decision as the best option to pull money from compared to dining, scholarships, and dorms.
It's not that I'm saying all the uproar and all the criticism is not justified. It's just this was probably going to happen regardless, and this is actually not the worst place for it to come from. There are a lot of worse places that they could have feasibly chosen from. So for that reason, I don't think it's the worst decision. I actually think it'll also help to sort of decrease the volume of traffic on campus as well, as people realize, okay, if I live off campus and I can just walk, I can ride my bike or something. So I think there's that other side effect that actually might have a lot of impact.
A student defending the parking price hike? That's something you don't see every day. Well, we've heard a lot of stories about students, their frustration, and their expectations for next year. Now let's look at what administrative officials have to say. Of course, students want plans to change, but because of the development stage that Samford is in, they can't go backward, and they don't want to. We sat down with the Vice President of Finance, Business Affairs, and Strategy, Dr. Colin Coyne, to get his insight on these decisions.
Look, I think it's a fair request from students, but if I could just sit here and say, yeah, we're just going to forget it, then I probably shouldn't have charged it in the first place.
Dr. Coyne also talked about the responses he's gotten from students, and to our surprise, he loved them. Because of the nature of his job, Dr. Coyne doesn't get to talk to students very often. But due to some students' creativity and their frustration, he's had some fun tricks played on him.
I do think somebody gave my name to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
No.
Because right after the Fizz thing went up, I get this thing, email and a text, thanks for agreeing to speak with us. And I was like, huh? And then I was actually out of state at the time, and my phone rings and says, hi, this is so-and-so at Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. It's like, okay, if you're going to gig an administrator, props for that one. But
Students and faculty aren't the only ones taking a financial hit with the increase. Samford employees are also expected to pay the $250 per semester if they are planning to park on campus. Employees working for dining options park in the wall off campus and are shuttled to work. A few managers for dining are able to park on campus, but it is not guaranteed. However, all those working the evening shifts can park wherever they choose, as it is after taking hours. Here's a Samford employee with more. Campus parking issues affect far more than the Samford students, faculty and staff looking for a parking spot on main campus. When parking spots become sparse, they're forced to look for other options. I headed over to Devonshire Drive, the dead-end road conveniently located behind campus, where many students and faculty park each day. With all of the commotion regarding parking taking place on campus, it's important to note the effects this issue is having on the surrounding Homewood area. When students and faculty can't find parking, they are forced to look off campus. One of these areas is Devonshire Drive, a dead-end road right behind Samford's campus. Though this acts as a temporary solution, the fact that it is in a residential neighborhood has caused some problems. We talked to senior Claire Fegley, who uses this path to get to school daily.
When I do drive, I always am circling for 15 minutes. Just yesterday I was circling and I just kept seeing the same people over and over again because none of us could find parking spots. But when I walk to school, I walk down this street called Devonshire, and so there's always cars and cars and cars lined up of people just parking and then walking onto campus from there because we can't find anywhere to park on campus. So that's kind of goofy, but...
With all of the parking drama this year and the new parking garage being built, we asked Fegley what she thought the future of Devonshire and the surrounding area might look like.
Now, Devonshire is kind of an abandoned road, there's nothing on it. So that's not really a problem, but most days the cars wrap along onto the next road. And so if I were one of the people that lived in one of those houses, I probably would be pretty bothered because there's constantly cars parked across from driveways and just outside of people's hewlett. So that is probably not ideal.
We look forward to seeing the proposed solutions be implemented in the coming year. For SNN, this is Christiana Hewlett. Parking at Samford is complicated, changing, and it's something just about everyone has an opinion on.
Whether it's new fees, fewer spots, or future plans, one thing is clear. Parking isn't going away as a hot topic anytime soon.
Well, thanks for joining us for this special edition of Samford News Network. I'm Christiana Hewlett.
And I'm Jordan Shepperson. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.